call, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? Welcome into Last Call. Here we go. It is Tuesday, February 27th. A little behind the ball here. We're just getting off site and trying to get things rocking and rolling here, but we are ready to go here. We're going to have ourselves a show tonight. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Everything's good to go. We're going to figure it out on the fly, but we are going to get that cash as we do here. Coming off a winning night on Monday, going to run it back, and you know what Tuesday means. We got our boy Billy Briz in the house, ready to break down the hardwood for us here, going through college basketball, rolling into the NBA. But you know what happens first here. We talk about the Ice Hockey League here. We're going to lace up the skates. We're going to get to it and get that cash tonight. We got a full card in both NHL and the NBA. We got a great card along the way as far as college basketball as well. So we got a lot of plays to get into, guys, but you know the deal first and foremost. You're just getting in, smash that thumbs up button. Help us promote the brand here. 6 p.m., we're trying to crack the code and let them know we're here to do this thing on the regular. Monday to Friday, Last Call, Pub Sports Radio. We appreciate everybody dropping in, getting moving here. Guys, know the deal. 3 things we ask you to do when it comes to Last Call. First and foremost, hit that thumbs up button. Show the support. Help us get knowledge here that we are in this community doing it on the regular. 2, you're going to want to grab a pen and paper, not just for the plays that I share on screen, but our guest, Billy Briz, and, of course, the chat. Sharper and sharper every single day. Love what you guys are sharing. You guys are playing out them best looks there. You're giving us injury updates, talking about trends, all the things we need to be able to get to that cash. And, of course, throw your plays in the chat there. We want to recognize the plays you guys are on just as much as what we're doing here. Everyone's working with the same goal in mind, and that's smash these bookies. We got to get that cash from their pockets, and we got to put it in our own. So let's get rolling here. We appreciate you guys in the chat dropping in. I see Juan Ruiz, a new member out there. And our guy Barney's in the chat. He says, hurry, let's go. Tori Coker's in the chat. Says, went 1-0 yesterday with the Heat. Nice job, Tori Coker. Mad about that Heat spot there. You know, we took an L in the NBA on the under. And if only I had another hour to crack that thing down, because it was absolutely a Heat spot. And the over, as it turned out there. Tori Coker, though, dropping his grandma's baked the cookies play of the day. He likes the Cavs in the first half, -2. The Futon Bets likes this Mavs game to go under 232.5. And there's our guy, Justin McKelvey, with the Stacks play of the day, rocking that Colorado State -7.5. Justin, we appreciate you. Tori Coker dropping your plays in there. Swizz in the house as we be pubbing. Trisha M says, TikTok at 6 o'clock. Let's go, Trisha M. Appreciate you dropping in here. Winner Circle says, hey, yo, Dana Delp. Mike here at the hall. Xavier is dressed and shooting around. Galloway's dressed as well. Let's go. Bo Jackson says, how about them Raptors? Good on you, Bo Jackson. Let's go, my guy. Cameron Sinette says, Money Mike has the best intro song. Fireman. That's what our guy Jay Peasy does. If you didn't know, he's on the intro, baby. That's our guy doing his best work for us there to get it going. Voodoo Ranger 95 says, intro's dope. Haven't heard it yet. Let's go, my guy. This is what we're doing here. You know, if it was only just the intro, but that gets us fired up for a big card here. Can't wait to get rolling. Jay Smooth 16, the smooth balls. You got to keep him smooth, baby. The play of the day. He likes Kansas -6.5. Jay Peasy, there's our guy. He says, what up, motherfuckers? Let's go. Mel's in the chat there. Mel says, Mike, Canucks out there. And, of course, T on the 1s and 2s says, smash the like button, pubbers. Let's go. Coin says, what up, Mike in chat? Let's have a Tuesday. Got some Ohio under 142.5 in Coin's pocket there. A little action for our guy Coin. And there's my guy Kong's Clips. Only half of y'all have simply touched the like button. Show some appreciation. My guy Kong's Clips will keep it right for us there, guys. Hit that thumbs up if you're just getting in, rocking with us. Winner Circle likes that Pelicanos first quarter. Just saw the news that Brunson is officially ruled out. 29 says, wake and bake. Let's go. And there's my guy Marcus McCarthy ready to roll. Says the Ottawa, so much cash on them. knew it was fishy. Yeah, that's a bad spot ultimately there. Just can't quite get those boys right there. It's kind of a low number too, so it was kind of suspect. But North Ender says, what? WTF are the Pelicans -7? That's the Brunson spot. That's North Ender. I had to catch my tongue on that one here. We're just getting started here. But that's Brunson being out. That line just keeps skyrocketing. Hopefully you got in there early. Our guy Subhuman Gaucho's in the chat. Says, like me some Wings and Canucks a lot tonight. Have each played a couple different ways. My guy Subhuman Gaucho. We're gonna touch on one of those games for hockey. I don't believe the other one made the card here, but that's okay. Marcus McCarthy says, I was on them. It was so weird. It was, but we move on. Let's go. Yeah, look, we're going to give you guys the recap. That's how we start everything. And there's my guy, Dana Delp says, Indiana +4.5, Kentucky +2.5, George Washington +7.5, and Southern Illinois there, the Edwardsville spot there with the -1.5. We're going to touch on a couple of those games as well. Dana Delp, like the headspace there. Let's keep it rolling. Love to be aligned with some of you guys here. I love to be aligned with all you guys, but that's not the way it goes on the regular here. Marcus McCarthy, and there's Juggler23. Says Syracuse looks too easy tonight. Beware. Yeah, North Ender, no Brunson. Shut him down and got it done. Marcus McCarthy says, Mike and New Look. Yeah, we're off site today. We're trying to do our best to get these winners and then spend a little time, little R&R with the friends out there. Lucky Lucas says hammer time. George Washington money line, Canucks money line for our guy Lucky Lucas out there. And look, we're gonna get rolling here. We got a lot to get into. 7:00 does not wait for anybody. We've got plenty of hockey to get into. We've got college basketball and NBA looks that are all popping off at 7. So we got to get moving. I hope you guys are ready. Again, just getting out of work, trying to figure out what you're going to do for dinner. Grab yourselves a cocktail, and we're going to figure out what plays we're going to get on tonight. So let's get into it, guys. You know the deal. First and foremost, we got to keep it transparent. That is 100 above everything else we do here. It's the paramount of what we do here and keeping it clean here. And look, clean is what it was. It was a 5-4 night there. We moved the needle, got a couple of plus dollars in the pocket. Not entirely where we wanted to be, but we fell short in a couple of spots that should have gotten it done for us here. Let's go through this recap, and then we will lace the skates up and take to hockey here. Oh, yeah, them Senators. We just touched on it. We talked about it. They let us down. They did us dirty. Man, they were running red hot. And they're going again tonight, right? Here's a little no rest spot for them. We did cash that. Dallas under 6.5, though. Dallas under 6.5 got the job done for us. Comfortable. It's 2-2 going into the end of that thing there. But once we hit overtime, we knew we were all good to go. And then Vince Dunn there did not get the job done. Over 2.5 shots on goal. Man, I thought he was trending there early. I thought he had 2 early, but they must have either done some cancellation. I saw he came up with a third period goal, but could not get the over 2.5 shots. Seattle did get the job done. K-State rolled over. Yeah, they got some points there, but it wasn't enough for us to get the job done. But then we went on a little streak there. We hit Campbell +9.5. We got that TCU game under 146.5. We moved over to the NBA. We got that Toronto +6.5. We got Detroit +11.5. And then we fizzled out at the end of the game there with Miami under 224.5. Did not get the job done. But look, 5-4. We were able to move the needle forward. And now we're going to get rolling into tonight's card. I'm excited to fire off with you guys here. Ian Shaver says, just jumping in. What up, you dogs there, my guy, Ian Shaver. It's great to see you. We're going to navigate through this thing together, guys. I've got some audio challenges on one of these devices, but that doesn't mean we can't get into this hockey card and figure this thing out. So let's do just that. I know our guy Billy's backstage waiting and ready to fire. We've got this college basketball card ready to roll and the NBA, but we do have to start here in the National Hockey League because I think we've just got some great plus spots here, some money opportunities to grab for us. And we're going to open the card with this Tampa Bay Philadelphia spot here. You know what I say? Philadelphia, just too stupid to know they should lose, but man, they're going to have to figure something out now because now they're dealing with a depleted lineup, top to bottom here. Defense is hurting. Offense is hurting. Goaltender's been hurting. And they're going to go back to Harrison to try to get the job done. The flip side of this thing, not a lot of positive notes with Tampa Bay and Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky is 20-14, but he's running a 2.95 goals against average and an 89.8 save percentage here. And it is his worst start in a decade here. This guy's definitely been out there struggling, and this is going to lead us to where I think this first play comes into here. On the other side of things, we have Harrison at 16, 11, and 4. He's rolling a 2.56 with a 90% save percentage. Philly struggling as well. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They're finally getting the pace that I expected out of them there. But struggles in goaltenderville for Philadelphia. They had to go to Cal Peterson in that last game, and he got blasted. He took a 7-6 loss. Last place in the power play in the NHL for Philadelphia at 13.2%. And I touched on it. I kind of alluded to where we're going with this thing here. Look, you lose 7-6. You got to come back that next game. What do you got to do? You got to be focused in on playing some defense first here. Whether you win or lose the game, you just can't go out there and get blasted. Furthermore, with Ersson and goal, they don't have anybody else. They're going to go back to Cal Peterson, who just got lit up like a Christmas tree. And that doesn't bode well here. So Tortorella, expectation is going to go to try to reestablish the defense out there. They're down Konechny on offense. That's their number one guy out there. He's a playmaker. He's got a great attitude, brings a lot of positive energy to the rink, and he's out. On defense, Jamie Drysdale, the big move they made with Anaheim, he's out of this thing here. So, collectively, I think when you look at this stuff here, last game for Tampa, Kucherov goes out there, gets himself a hat trick. You got to lock this guy down. I expect a low-scoring start to this game here, the focus being defense first, plug up the lane so that Kucherov can't get the goals out there, and just try to focus on staying in this game here, 0-0 type of thing here. Worst case, 1-0 to open this game up. And this first period under 1.5 is sitting at a plus 110 spot for us. So got to open up the NHL card tonight. We got the skates on, and we're going to go out there and take this plus money. Game number 1, we open up the card tonight in the NHL with that Philadelphia first period under 1.5. And on we go. Game number 2, we're going to keep a brisk pace. Try to get this thing fired off. We got a ton of plays before 7 o'clock, so we have to get moving. And game number 2, we're going to look at this Washington Capitals Detroit Red Wing spot. Here's my footnote for this Washington Capitals spot. If they do me dirty tonight, they're going to be on the shit list for the rest of the season here. They're going to Charlie Lindgren at 12-8-5 in goal. They've got on the other side of things with Detroit, they've got Alex Leon at 17-8-2. And look, the big story for Washington, they are just surprising everybody up and down the ice right now. They have found themselves going off a 6-3 win against the Ottawa Senators. They've got themselves 4 of their last 5 games. But we've got this unrested opportunity here with the Capitals coming in, second leg of a back-to-back. And first and foremost, we love to try to exploit those spots here because we know things get tired by the end of the game. Secondarily here, we've got a spot where we've got a team in the Detroit side of things who's kind of got a resurgence now. They've got Patrick Kane starting to find the back of the net. Of course, they've got Dylan Larkin doing his thing as well. And when we look at this spot here that we've got tonight, it's a great spot play where you've got a team that's averaging 30 or more shots on goal, that's finding an effectiveness and scoring at over 42%. That be the Detroit Red Wings tonight. And what happens in those spots here? We've got an over trend and a half right now. It's 268 and 171 to the over, 9-1 in its last 10, and it's on a 5-0 run. So we can get this Capitals team still at over 6 at a minus 120. You got to take them plus the 6.5, and it's a plus 105 spot. Then I'm not mad at that either. But at the end of the day, I love the 6. I love the opportunity for the push to be in play. I know some folks are looking at this thing thinking, hey, we're going to see a little bit of a lower scoring team. But I think Detroit's on the upswing here. We've got Washington scoring goals, and we've got some goaltenders that, have really gotten a lot of mileage this year. So I think, again, tread's wearing thin. We've got this Capital spot and a place to get the job done. Play number 2 here, we're going to open up here for the NHL with the Washington Capitals over 6, and we're going to keep it moving. Game number 3. Favorite spot that we can get in the NHL card. Subhuman Gaucho says Detroit's getting excited for their team. I expect that crowd to be rocking tonight, as do I. Nathan Cerna says, finding myself 2-0 so far on my 5-team parlay. Had the Rangers and the Mets. Nice job out there getting a little spring training baseball in you. Look at Conks Clip says, shout out to the New Orleans, baby. Nathan Cerna, viewing from work. My guy, we appreciate you dropping in. And there's Truth Teller says, hi, what up, Truth Teller? You guys know the deal. The right-hand side, you'll see the plays that we're going through here, where we're at in the lineup, and then we're going to keep it moving again, off-site, brisk pace on to game number 3 with this Hurricanes and Minnesota spot. And look, I think this is a great opportunity here. We've got Kochetkov going in goal for Carolina, 15-10-3. And he's playing pretty strong right now, a 2.36 goals against average with a 91% save percentage. Minnesota's got Gustafsson going at 16-13-3. He's got a 3.23 and an 89.6 save percentage. That is, for your starting goaltender, that's the serviceable category. That's not where you want to be with your starting goaltender. You look at Kochetkov and what he's been doing out there. This guy's got 3 shutouts in a row, or not in a row, but in the NHL this season, and it's making him one of the hottest goaltenders in the NHL. We know Minnesota's been on a hot streak. They've won 7 of their last 9, and they're scoring at a pretty solid clip here. The top half of the NHL, they're 14th in goals per game at 3.16. We got Carolina. They're on an 0-2 little run right now, but they're shooting a lot. They're getting a lot of pucks. They just haven't found the back of the net, which I expect to change tonight. As I mentioned, that Gustafsson be kind of in that serviceable bucket for your number one goaltender. That's not where you want to be. We got a couple of spots that we're tracking here for this Carolina game tonight here. The first is the revenge spot. We've got the revenge angle in place. You're a road favorite after losing to this team in the season as a home favorite. It's 538 and 280. You guys have heard me talk about it time and again. We're going to run it back. We've also got another little spot here for Carolina. For whatever reason, when your next team's Columbus on the road and you're an away favorite, you're 17 and 4 in those spots, and your margin is what's going to make us comfortable taking this -1. The margin's 1.2 goals a game in that spot. So -1 is a plus 108 spot. I love the plus money situation where we've got the opportunity to take advantage of the revenge angle. So play number 3 for the NHL tonight, Carolina -1, plus 108. And we're going to close the night out with a banger here. It's going to be our NHL late night special. So get ready, get excited here. We've got a big game with the New Jersey Devils and the San Jose Sharks. And love this spot. I'm excited about the opportunity here. We got Nico Dawes going in goal for New Jersey. He's rolling at 7-8, but check this out. 3.3 goals against average, 89.4% save percentage. Other side of things, we've got Blackwood, Mackenzie Blackwood at 9-18 and 3. Now, he's got a 3.51 goals against average and an 89.8 save percentage. But, pull the covers back and take a look at that thing here. This guy's got 4-game winning streak that just came to an end against Las Vegas here. We've got Blackwood that was running hot, but he gets 4 goals scored on him on 26 shots. Not where he wants to be. Look, this is a straight opportunity where we're at the precipice here. We're at the cusp of the intersection of fire Lindy and get themselves a new coach out there. Lindy Ruff is absolutely on the hot seat for New Jersey. They've got goaltending issues right now. There's talk about them going out there and trying to trade for Saros out of Nashville Predators. In fact, the New Jersey Devils are one of the top favorites to go out there and trade for Saros, but they don't have him yet. They've got Nico Dawes, and again, less than serviceable for this guy here. It'd be amazing if Lindy Ruff can complete this game here. Maybe after the second period, they go out and they fire this guy. The Devils are 4-6 in their last 10. And, the same number as the Sharks here at 4-6 in their last 10. So, the big challenge, though, I see with New Jersey in this case here, we know the Sharks aren't good, right? We know that they're just kind of a reeling team right now. They're going to have to get rebuilt, and they're going to have to do it on the quick. The thing, though, about New Jersey, constantly cycling lines. There's no chemistry. There's no continuity in what that offense is doing out there right now, and it's leading to these guys just getting beat. They don't know where the outlet passes are. They're not comfortable with their guys on the breakout, and it's leading to the 4-6 record over the last 10. So, we're taking this goaltender that just had a nice little hot streak in Blackwood, just took it down against Las Vegas, trying to get back to his ways. And on the other side of things, we've got New Jersey probably going to fire their coach at the end of this game if they take this loss. And we got a plus 220 staring us in the face. So we're going to go back to one of our show favorite plus money dogs here in the San Jose Sharks. And we got ourselves a nice plus 220 to crack this code. So that's going to roll us through the NHL. I love the looks tonight here. We're going plus money hunting. Like I said, we're closing the night out with the Sharks. We've got Carolina -1 at plus 108. You can take that Capitals over 6 at plus money. I'm going to look at the 6 at -120 and the first period under for the Philadelphia Flyers at plus 110. That's how we kick off this NHL card. True Teller says, Sharks. Yeah, baby, Sharks. Mel likes the Canucks -1. Canucks in regulation. Can't be mad at those looks either. I was that close to pulling on the Canucks, especially with the unrested situation. But I see Subhuman Gacho says, took some Habs -110 as well. A little nervous about that one, to be honest. I was close to getting the Habs. In fact, the Habs are one of the first teams on the cutting room floor, Subhuman Gacho. I thought this is a spot where we could fade them boys. But I kind of like the situation tomorrow for Arizona playing this Toronto Maple Leafs team. We know that Arizona is one of those dangerous teams. You could have a Toronto letdown. And if the Toronto Maple Leafs can get this job tonight, then I think it's a play on the Coyotes tomorrow. But I was close on that half spot. I just couldn't pull the trigger. So we'll keep our eyes on that game and see if it opens up a play for us tomorrow. But let's keep it rolling, guys. 7 p.m. right around the corner here. And we're going to bring on our Tuesday resident for last call. You guys know him. You love him. He's a UFC connoisseur. It's Billy Briz.
What up? What up, Mikey?
Billy, we're doing our thing, man. We're rolling quick tonight. We got a lot of plays to get into. And 7 o'clock ain't waiting for nobody, my guy. So I know you've got things tight and ready to roll here for college basketball. So we're going to kick this thing off with you, my guy, here. It's a big Tuesday for us. And you're looking at a team right down the street in this Syracuse orange spot. So I'm struggling with some of these cash flow splits, but I think I can pull this up here. Let me just work through this. There we go. We've got, bear with me. We're loading. So worst case scenario. It's the worst case you could have when you're off site, things taking slow and taking their time to get moving, Billy, but we will fight through it, Billy. That's what we do.
I mean, I can tell you where the money's coming in on this one.
Sure. Why don't you pop us off? Talk about this game for us. Let me see if I can get things right.
Yeah, this one's pretty interesting when it comes to the spread bets. 76% of the spread bets and 65% of the big bets are on Syracuse. And then it's kind of the reverse on the money line. On the money line, we see some people dog hunting a little bit. 64% of the money on VTech, 63% of the sharp bets on Syracuse paying the chalky juice here. And I'm going to go with Syracuse here. I mean, VTech, they've been bad on the road, dropping 4 straight games, going 1-8 straight up away from home. Virginia Tech, they've lost their last 3 road games by double digits. So it seems like another fade spot for them tonight. While it could feel like a trap line here for Syracuse, I mean, they've been good at home, 13-2 straight up at the Dome this season, and they're on the right side of their bubble, but this is their last home game of the season. That's what really made me want to bet on Syracuse here in this spot. When you're a bubble team and this is your last home game of the season, this is kind of like a must-win game for Syracuse. Granted, their next couple of games are against Louisville, and then at Clemson, but if they can go 2-1 throughout this stretch, I think they're going to be in as a tournament team. But if they lose a couple of these games, man, they could be on the wrong side of the bubble here, and you could see their bubble burst. So for Syracuse, I know Boeheim Day was over the weekend. This could be a letdown spot, but I think this is a get right spot here for Syracuse. Big game for them. Last home game of the season would be a senior night, but I don't think they have any seniors in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I like the Syracuse spot too. I know the numbers are kind of, you kind of look at it and you think, well, it's a low juice opportunity, but I think that's where you got to take advantage here. Syracuse, this is their time of year. They love sitting on the bubble. Granted, Boeheim and the bubble was kind of one and the same here, but I like the Syracuse spot to get it right here against Virginia Tech. They've kind of been playing outside of their shoes here with Virginia Tech, and Syracuse at the Dome, big advantage for them boys. Billy's card has opened up with Syracuse. Justin McKelvey says Syracuse -125 on his card. He's fading Virginia Tech on the road. And Michael Blana says this Syracuse line stinks. It ain't foreign, it's boring. Syracuse must-win situation. I think we're all in agreement there, with the exception of Michael B. there. He doesn't like the line. But, Kelly V says fishy line. Look, Syracuse in the Dome. It's a real thing this time of year especially. So love the play, Billy. We're kicking it off with the Cuse here in the orange. You guys know the deal. It's New York. That means I got to go to the alternate books to get advantage of this one. And I already took advantage of it. So not scared of this spot here with Syracuse. Going to fire away on them boys and join my boy, Billy Briz. Let's roll on to game number 2. Big spot that I want to take advantage of here. We're going to the Big Ten. You guys, we've been trying to find these opportunities in the Big Ten where they exist. And I believe tonight we do have that spot here. We've got this Wisconsin and Indiana game. This line opened up at 4s. We've got themselves, they moved up to 4.5 before coming back down to 4. So we've got a little U-shaped movement in this spot with 64% of the bets and 64% of the cash on Wisconsin. All this cash is pouring in on Wisconsin. And yet here's Indiana finding themselves at a +4 situation here. This is going to be a game that's televised over on Peacock. So we got some big lights, some bright lights on this opportunity. And this is a spot I wanted to jump all over this Indiana team. I felt like, Wisconsin, we know what they're doing. They're 18-9. Covering the spread at an exceptional clip across college basketball this season. On the other side of things with Indiana, kind of you don't know what you're going to get out of this team, but we've heard from our guy already, Dana Delp, talking about some of these players coming back. And this is kind of that classic adage here where we've got Indiana coming off of 4 losses. They're a small priced favorite. So Kong's Clip says, don't do it. Mikey, my hometown Hoosiers are terrible right now. Let's lead that into this little number that I found. So, for all beans, Kong's Clips, I was fully on board with you with that conversation. I thought, this is kind of a suspect situation, but then I saw some of these numbers and I said, holy shit, I can't take it. I can't not take advantage here. We got the Big Ten home dog. You guys, we've talked about this spread, this number all season long. The Big Ten home dog, 34-13 against the spread, covering the spread by almost 5 points. And the average score we're seeing in this thing, 73.1 to 73. That's a full year's data, right? So that goes back to February of 2023. But the biggest spot that I saw here was, this is an Indiana specific one here. Indiana off a road loss Before they were a home team and a spread loss here, and then lost at home before that as well with a line between -2 and +7. 21-2 spot for Indiana. We had to dig deep in that situation. They're 19-4 straight up. The average score we're seeing in those spots, 77.5 to 72. I love the 4. I love the 4.5. Let's see what the best number is we can get out there. It looks to me like it is a 4 at this moment. So that's fine. Not concerned too much. Actually, I do see a 4.5 still out there over there. Nope. Caesars. You guys know the deal with Caesars. They do shit at refreshing. Oh, we do have one there with BetMGM, 4.5 at -115. Look, I'm not mad at the 4s, and I'm not mad at a little money line on the sprinkle either here. I think there's an opportunity. I get you, Conks Clips. It's your boys, and they're Kelly V says Wisconsin's the better team, but Wisconsin 2-8 against the spread on the road. No play. Xavier Johnson stinks. Hasn't been playing. Sulking. Yeah, well, listen, that's why I think we're going to have the opportunity to take advantage here with a couple too many points on our side here. Maybe this is a 2-point loss, Billy, but we're looking for 4.5. Any thoughts on this one?
You know me, man. I gotta take my money out of the Big Ten. Every time I think I'm back in on the Big Ten, I end up getting fucked over. Lost on Michigan State back-to-back times last week. I think I'm done betting the Big Ten for a little bit. If I had a favorite Big Ten spot of the day, it would probably be Iowa first half, but it was one of those ones I had to take off my card. I'm just not betting the Big Ten anymore.
That's how there's a couple of teams that kind of have me in that feeling there where I just don't want any part of them here, but I'm going to run this one back. Like I said, the home dog's been good to us here. I love these numbers, especially seeing that little spot there with a 21-2. So we also had the line movement working in collaboration. I said to you guys earlier, was it last week? I said, we got to be tight with these things here. We got to make sure we check all the boxes. And I feel like in this case, we have checked those boxes. Let's roll on. Let's talk about this next game here. This one's out of the Big Ten and onto the mid majors here. You guys know, love to get into the mud with the pigs on these things here. And I think we're going to get the opportunity with this game here. I'm looking specifically at the SIU Edwardsville, Eastern Illinois Battle Royale here, the Battle of Illinois. And I'm going to go right after it here. I'm taking SIU Edwardsville on the money line in this case here. Love this team. Love what they've been doing. I've caught some spots with them early. It's kind of one of those things where you don't hear a lot of people say they're all about SIU Edwardsville. But look, this is a spot I want to get involved with here. We have 40% of the bets, but 71% of the cash on Edwardsville. So what that tells me is we've got kind of the public believing in this home dog situation, yet bigger money coming in on this Edwardsville team. So love to see that situation here. I've got the favorite after a loss, 47-10, sitting on an average line of -8 in this spot tonight. So 37-20 against the spread. Not going to mess around. I'm going to take this -115 opportunity here. It's dropped a couple of dollars from the original opening with this thing here, but something I want to get involved with here. Love the number. I see, again, we've got a spot where bigger public play coming in on this team here. We've got Edwardsville just beat these guys up December 29th here when they kind of started some conference play. 67-58 as a home point, as an 8-point home favorite. And here we go on the road. You just beat them up. You took them down top to bottom on the court. We're going to run it back and take Edwardsville at -115. Did you look at this one, Billy?
Yeah, I was actually leaning towards the Eastern Illinois side, but I ended up taking it off of my card for a reason. A couple of things didn't grade out that I didn't like, so I don't blame you for going on the Edwardsville side because I almost bet Eastern Illinois until I did it.
It's not a pretty play, right? It's to close your nose and just hope that you can find a way at the end. But I think the numbers are on our side. I think that especially on this money line spot, these boys coming back after a loss here. We caught them in the right spot last week there with a win in a bad spot for them, and they were able to come through for it. But jumping on this Edwardsville spot to keep things rolling. Brisk pace. Again, we've got Billy rolling off here. He's got a couple of parlays here. I've got one more spot in college basketball. Then we're going to get into the NBA and fire away. So let's talk about this last game that I'm looking at, Billy. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on this one. You guys, today's not one of those mid-major days for me, despite having the Edwardsville opportunity here. I went back here with the Big 12. I've got this Texas Tech spot here, and this line's sitting at 3.5 right now is the trigger number for me. We have 61% of the bets, 57% of the cash on Texas, and yet we've got essentially a frozen line. This line is more, it's moved to half a point on some of the offshore, some of the janky books, but this number's been pretty tight all day long with people coming in taking this Texas team. And, the big deal here is taking an exacting revenge. Texas Tech knows that this is their last chance at these boys in the Big 12 this season. Love the opportunity. We're seeing cash coming in on the under. Billy, I love correlating those unders to the favorites here. 73% of the bets, 85% of the cash on the under. And here we have this Texas Tech team. We've got Tuesday favorites, teams that are lined between -3 and -10. Again, off that loss and an under, 23-16 against the spread. Average score we're seeing 74-66 in those spots here. We've got a home favorite in the Big 12 specifically. Home favorites less than a -4. So again, that 3.5 is crucial that we're not seeing, this thing dropping or moving in any direction. It's 11-3 in those spots for the Big 12. Again, the average score is 74-68. So we're seeing probably, if you were going to play an exact score type of thing here, it's probably right around that 74-66-68. But I think we see Texas Tech get them 74 points. And I think we see a little bit more of a defensive effort from these boys trying to come back off of that loss. We've seen the under play out for these guys. They've been definitely sticking to the under. We're seeing cash coming in on the under, Billy. Texas Tech -3.5 for me. Any thoughts about this Big 12 battle?
Yeah, I think you're on the right side. Texas Tech, probably one of the best home court advantages in all of college basketball this year. I think they're damn near undefeated at home, 14-1. I think it's 14-1 straight up at home. I just don't know. This one gave me a weird feeling in my body that I didn't get to the window here for Texas Tech, but everything tells me to bet Texas Tech here in this spot.
Yeah, it's just that lack of line movement is, despite we see the numbers, we see the trends, and then yet we still no movement here with this Texas side of things. Love this spot here. I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to be a double digiter, but this is what I've learned from my Tuesdays with Billy Briz here is if we're less than a 5, they just got to win by 7. And I think they can get this job done there. We're seeing the trends on our side for that 7. Good to see A. Alec in here. He likes Kentucky +3.5, -105. He's got that Texas Tech game under 145.5. There's a little under spot for our guy. And he likes the Dayton Davidson over 132.5. Jacqueline showing up. What up, Jacqueline? It's great to see you. And there's our guy, Nasty Nate, giving us the little prelude to what he's looking for in the NBA. Billy, if I asked you to guess what Nasty Nate was on in the NBA without looking at the chat, what would you guess?
I actually think that Celtics second quarter is a very sharp spot, even though he says Celtics smash. Celtics second quarter, definitely. I don't have the trends and the numbers, but it's a good spot.
Well, Billy, for the benefit of time here, I know we've got some things that are rolling right around the corner and then the NBA popping off as well. So we've got a lot to get to here. But I want to talk about this because you shared 2 parlays that you wanted to give the people today. And the first one's a little 4-legger at +104. I love that you forewent the spread on these games. Kind of lay us down with the methodology and how you came up with this little formula here. We've got Dayton, Kent State, Kansas, and Colorado State at +104 to open up your parlay plays today.
Yeah, we'll just talk about some spots that are really good parlay spots for me on the card today. First one, Davidson Dayton. We're not going to talk too much about Kent State. Kent State's one of those, if you want to add it in, you can add it in. If you don't want to because you feel like it doesn't add any value, God bless. Dayton, though, versus Davidson versus Dayton. I like Dayton here in this comeback spot after losing to George Mason. They beat Davidson the first time 72-59 in North Carolina. Davidson was held to 59 points despite scoring 30 of those points from 3-pointers. Dayton had 18 points off of turnovers. Davidson's leading scorer, David Sogman, is done for the season. That's really taken a hit in their offensive production. Dayton has the athletic advantage here in this spot. Deron Holmes, the second, is taller than everyone on Davidson's team, and he ranks second behind Zach Edey on KenPom, averaging 20 points, 7.9 rebounds, and more than likely going to be the A-10 player of the year. And Dayton's really owned the head-to-head historical trends in this one, going 7-0 versus Davidson in their last 7 games. I think that they covered the spread as well, but I think that spread's right on the number. I see this being like an 8 to 13 point win here for Dayton. Second spot here, Kansas. Kansas is going to be without McCullough again, hence why the line seems so low. But they look good over the weekend without McCullough. They kind of figured it out. They were able to blow out Texas on their home court. Hunter Dickerson is in a really good matchup against BYU, who's been torched down low by big men all Big 12 season. BYU ranks outside the top 300 in near rim field goal percentage allowed this season. So Kansas should be able to get to the rim easily in this matchup. They're 6th in the country in finishing around the rim. So that's a big metric here that I think favors Kansas. BYU's offensive ranking is really good. They're 4th in effective field goal percentage in Big 12 play, but it's their defense on HasamalaMatrix.com. They have BYU ranked 355th and away from home rankings, which they're allowing 80 points per game on the road, which is horrible. They're 0-7 ATS in their last 7 road games versus a team with a home winning record greater than 60% here, or 600% here. Allen Fieldhouse is one of the hardest places to play. I think KU comes out and plays here 14-0 straight up at home this season. I don't see too much changing. But my favorite spot of the day here is actually going to come in this Colorado State spot. At first glance, you see this number with Nevada, and it seems like that's the play, but not too fast here. Cannon Blackshear is going to be out. He was seen on a walking boot when he got on the team bus yesterday, and he leads Nevada in usage rating and the highest assist percentage in the Mountain West. Nevada won the first meeting against Colorado State at home, 77-64 on their home court. Colorado State shot 6 for 23 from the three-point line. Lucas and Blackshear combined for 48 points on 16 of 28 shooting. I doubt that's going to be the case in scenario in this one. If you look at Colorado State at home in league play, they beat the likes of New Mexico by 8, San Diego State by 8, Boise State by 13, and Utah State by 20. Nevada will have the highest. Nevada is the highest ranked team left on Colorado's schedule. The next two are Wyoming and Air Force. So I expect their best offensive efforts in this one. They're third in the country in assist/field goal made percentage. This is a good revenge spot here for Colorado State versus Nevada without Blackshear. The situational scenario favors them heavily. The line has really agreed with this one. While it could be too many points, I wouldn't be shocked if they got blown out here in Colorado State. It's one of my favorite parlay spots of the day.
And then is Kent State in there as well? I didn't hear you touch on Kent State. Are they part of this one?
I mean, that one's pretty binary. You could add that one in, and some people say it doesn't add value. I added it in. I mean, Kent State's laying 15.5 points. It's telling you everything you need to know, despite them being 8-16 and 1 ATS. They won the first meeting 83-52 earlier this month. Kent State's trying to defend their MAC title. And this should be a good spot for them to win and cover here against Buffalo. Kent State, I feel like it doesn't feel like it, but they won the MAC last year, and they definitely want to not be playing on day one of the MAC tournament. So every win kind of counts for them here. They're kind of right there in the middle of playing on day one or playing on day two. So I wouldn't mind anybody taking out the Kent State one. You know me. I like to fade Buffalo, especially.
Buffalo's terrible. We've talked about that time and again here, and you say what you will about the parlay and what it does, but I bet you it takes it from a -105 to a +104 is what that does by adding Kent State in there. And
from 15.5 18 to +104.
Yeah. And so I expect Kent State to beat the shit out of Buffalo today. And, while you're talking about that Colorado State spot, I've got Colorado State in a 15-5 trend there. I was just waiting for things to kind of look a little closer to the game time there, the actual tip-off before I pull the trigger. But I love that Colorado State spot tonight. I think that's a great look. And I love the way you're opening up the parlay there. A little 4-legger +104 for our guy Billy Briz in college basketball, but he's not done yet. He's going to roll on. He's got another parlay for us in college hoops. Let's talk about this one, Billy. It's kind of a little spin-off there with the Colorado State spot that you already touched on, but talk to us about Boise State. I see Jarrell Jones says on Boise State double up as well. It looked like there is some love for Boise State in the chat too. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't want to pay the -165 juice, but these are just two teams that I'm very confident that they win tonight, and I kind of don't want to be playing around with the points. We'll get some plus money in the NBA, as we always do. But Boise State here, this is a smash spot for them. This is an incentive game for Boise State. They're tied for first in the Mountain West standings, and they can't afford to lose this one. This matchup sets up really well for them. Air Force defense allows 47% from field goal range, 37% from three-point range. Boise State is one of the best perimeter defenses in the country, ranked at 27th. In the first meeting, they scored 94 points and won the game by 40. Coming off a big upset, I like Boise State here in this spot tonight. Feels like an Air Force letdown spot.
I'm fully on board with you with those two spots there. The parlay I'm dialed in with as well there. I think these are great. I see some questions in the chat though. Paul and Boats says thoughts on Nova Live. I gotta be honest there, Paul and Boats. I didn't really look at that game too much here. What is it, 10-6 right now live with 14 minutes left in the first half? I don't know.
I'm not betting the Nova game. I'm the biggest Nova fan you'll ever meet, and I'm not betting that game. They should win, but shit, at this point, I'll fuck around and bet Georgetown and hope for the best on the points. Shouts to my guy in the chat, Scarzy856.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. Jason works in there. He says Mike, and then he's got himself George Mason -1.5 and Syracuse -1. Absolutely some spots with Billy Briz. And Alex, is that Boise State rebound differential the largest of any matchup today? That's how you cover bigger spreads, right? You get to that foul line at the end of the game and you get it done. Kelly V says she likes the under in the Nova game, though. So there is a look to that under. Yeah, I'm not. I guess if I was going to play anything in that spot there, I would probably look to the under. Billy Briz is talking about just a lot of points. The thing about Villanova, they take weird shots. They take a lot of threes. They don't have the right guys taking the threes. They are the best foul team in the country. So they should be able to pull ahead here. But when you first asked about that, I thought they were down. And I was like, well, yeah, maybe you get a better number here. But the fact that they're up, they're only up
I'll
by
tell you
4.
the reason why you shouldn't bet Nova minus 15.5. It's their pace of play. They play too slow of basketball to blow out another team. And when you're betting big spreads, you kind of want you either want the team to play really good defense, and the easiest way to cash a under is a blowout. But man, I mean, fucking their pace of play is dog shit for Nova. Granted, that helps them out in like the games against better teams and stuff like that. But against a team like Georgetown, if your pace of play is really slow, they just might win the game by 9 or 10 points, and it feel like a blowout watching it live.
Yeah, not only is their pace slow, but they shoot a shitload of 3-pointers, and they're just, they take a slow pace against it. You're not making all those 3-pointers out there. And now you got a team that's really struggling to cover that number. Justin says he's got Nova minus 9.5 first half in the pocket. Well, we will reach you on, my guy. We will root all you guys on there. I see Ian Shaber says Georgetown pre-flop plus 15.5. But let's take a little transition here. Let's go to the pros here. We're going to move away from college basketball. We gave you guys a bunch of spots there. With 7 o'clock looming, though, we got to jump into this NBA card because we've got ourselves quite a few spots here in the NBA. A bunch of them early as well. So we want to make sure to do it justice and get there with this thing here. Billy's looking at this Brooklyn-Orlando game to pop things off. This was kind of a weird one because when I looked at it earlier today, I couldn't entirely see the cash. I saw 91% of the bets were on the Magic. I did see the line went from 6.5 to 8.5, but I couldn't see the cash flow. And now I see it's as high as 9.5. So money keeps coming in on this Magic team. I think with good reason. 65% of the bets, 62% of the cash on the under. And, again, we look at this team here, Brooklyn. Brooklyn's what do we need to say about Brooklyn, Billy? They are coming off a win, I guess, if I'm going to be positive about that. And they've got a triple revenge spot here for this Orlando Magic team, having lost against the spread 3 times in a row and outright against the Brooklyn Nets, Billy. Talk to us about how this one plays out.
Yeah, this line's actually came down to 6.5, and that's the reason why I want to buy in here. I mean, the Nets finally got that coveted win that they wanted to get with Kevin Ollie as their coach, but they're just on a long road trip here. Last game of a road trip. Some people are going to be anointed by the Paolo Banchero being out for this one, but I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it kind of doesn't matter here in this spot and scenario. Granted, I would love to have Paolo out there, but I think that makes it a number that we can buy at here. I mean, the Nets are pretty bad off of a win, 8-11-2 ATS this year off of a win. And I like the way Orlando Magic have been playing basketball. I think they're the better team in the better spot. And second half of a back-to-back here for the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to be down some rotational players. No Cam Thomas out there, and I think that's really somewhat a little bit bigger than Paolo being out for the Magic. The Magic just played their last game without Paolo Banchero, and they did get blown out by the Atlanta Hawks, but I think that they get it together for this one. They're back at home. I just don't like the spot here for Brooklyn. Second half of a back-to-back. If you want to parlay up Orlando Magic, I don't blame you. Maybe like a little Orlando and New Orleans Pelican parlay. I wouldn't blame you for that.
Yeah, this is that proverbial question. Is 3 points too much for this guy or not enough? And we did see, to your point, a 109-92 game last played against the Atlanta Hawks out there. Second game of the back-to-back here. Fourth game on the road in a row for the Orlando Magic. But the fact that this number's come down almost feels like you said, they're already used to playing without this guy here. Let's run him back and see. And you're going to play a Brooklyn Nets team that I'm just not fond of this Brooklyn Nets team at all. You got that triple revenge factor in your back pocket. If it wasn't for the fact that it was Memphis, Brooklyn Nets have been terrible. They're just not covering for shit. So I love the spot there. Jason Work says, off topic, Mike, but Habs have a chance tonight. Yeah, I do think they have a chance tonight. I think the game for Arizona is tomorrow. I think we're looking for Toronto to win tonight, probably in regulation. And then I think tomorrow's the play where we jump in on Arizona. We're going to get nice plus money with that monster streak that the Toronto Leafs have had. I think it's 9 games in a row now. So coin flip at a -110 for those two teams. It looked like Montebault was going to be in goal for the Habs. And yeah, I think they do have a chance. I mean, it's -110. We gave you 3 out of 4 plays at plus money. In fact, you can get that 4th play at plus money. But if you want to get in there and go with the old La Habitas, then go get it done, my guy. Good luck on you. Let's keep it rolling here in the NBA. Game number 2 here. We've got ourselves a little battle. I've seen a lot of people on this side with me here, and I'm going to go back to it. We've got Dallas, Cleveland. Line opened 50% of the bets, 70% of the cash on Dallas. It was plus 4.5. There wasn't a lot of movement, which made me a little apprehensive there to start things off here. 79% of the bets, 85% of the cash came in on this under. This number's sitting at 230.5. It's slightly juiced to the over. So we kind of, I don't want to say we see reverse movement here, but look, here's the weird spot about this game, Billy. Donovan Mitchell, should be coming back in this game. From all intent and purpose, I saw Donovan should be back here. And the big question here is, we went from a plus 4.5 to a plus 4 with the news that Mitchell's coming back in this thing. And it just seems a little funky to me here. This current, the Cleveland Cavs here sit 37-19. And then you look at the Mavericks. They're 8th place in the Western Conference at 33-24. But if it wasn't for kind of the spread differential across the Eastern Conference here, these games, as far as the way that the haves and the have-nots across the East, I don't know that they'd be sitting at such a nice number. They did have a nice little December with everybody being injured. But if you look at this Cleveland team, Billy, tell me if I'm off here. 8 of the last 9 wins have come against teams that are not in the playoff picture. So they're beating up on the bags of shit. Now you got to go and ask yourself the question, can Luka, Irving, and Dallas go out there and outscore Mitchell and Maxey Strus? I think they can. I love the 4. I think this is a money line spot as well. I think this isn't a spot where you want to get cute, but this money line dropped from plus 150s down to plus 145s. And I'm just looking to see what the best number is here. It looks like I can catch, it's plus 4 now. It's plus 4 at -105 from the earlier line. So interesting line movement with this game, Billy. Any thoughts on the Dallas-Cleveland game?
Yeah, this is my favorite spot of the NBA card. You asked, how can you bet so much chalk in the NCAA? Because we're getting the Mavericks at plus money here tonight, man. The Mavericks are one of the best teams in the NBA. Win coming off of a big loss. Win coming off of a 22 or more point loss, which was the Indiana Pacers game on Sunday. Dallas is 50-19 in this spot. Going deeper into it, Dallas as an underdog, ATS-wise, 27-6 covering at 81% and 18-3 winning underdog on the road here. This is a Dallas spot written all over it. And if you want to get narrative theory here, Luka the Don birthday tomorrow. Come on, birthday celebration tonight. Kyrie coming back to Cleveland. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here narrative-wise. I think Dallas is the deeper team than Cleveland. I think they're a better team than Cleveland from top to bottom. And it's not always the better team that wins. It's usually the team that wins that are in that spot. And I'd like this spot here for the Mavericks tonight. All the numbers and all the trends are telling me that this is a Maverick spot. You could take the points. I mean, I got plus 5.5. I think it was 5.5 last night. As soon as this was on the opener, I liked it even more, and I bet that bitch right on the money line tonight. I ain't afraid. Bookies, keep the points in your fucking pocket because Cleveland's gonna bust up the tickets tonight. Dallas Mavericks straight up here on the money line and the cover for the win. Dallas is in a great spot tonight. First half of a back-to-back. They play Toronto tomorrow, but we'll get into the Toronto thing on a Wednesday night. Tuesday night, tonight, this is a Dallas spot. If you guys don't remember that first game, Donovan Mitchell got ruled out literally right before the game, about 5 minutes before the game. The game damn near went into overtime. Cleveland ends up pulling out the W in Dallas, and that was the most bullshit fuckery calls I've ever seen at the end of a basketball game. I think that spot flip scenario tonight, I think Dallas is going to catch him. It's hard fading Cleveland at home, but I think Dallas is going to catch him here slipping tonight. Dallas Mavericks, baby, all over it.
Love it. Love to see it too. We got some new names in the chat that I haven't seen thus far either. Fight Soup, it's great to see you. He says good stuff. There's our guy Brian Smith, says UK plus 4.5. They're 9-1 against the spread versus Mississippi State. Oh man, I tell you, Mississippi State, one of those first plays on the cutting room floor for me. But Brian Smith says, and 19-1 money line versus Mississippi State. Don Play says, do y'all like Akron money line tonight?
I actually got a note for that Mississippi State game. One book that I thought that was giving out a lot of value was Fliff, one of those offshore books. Theoretically not a sports book, but it's a sports book if you're putting your money on it and they take it and they pay you out. So how's it not a sports book? But as I digress, Joshua Hubbard, 20 plus points in Mississippi State, the win at plus 275. A lot of the prowess here in this matchup is obviously Tolo Smith and Keyshawn Murphy. They get good matchups down low versus UK. UK isn't going to have Trey Mitchell for this one. If you saw the game over the weekend, Kentucky went with a really small lineup and ended up working for them over the weekend, shooting 13 for 24 from 3-point versus Bama. But I don't think that's going to be the same spot here. For Mississippi State to win this game, they're going to have to slow up the pace, and Joshua Hubbard's going to have a big game. He's been the real outlier for Mississippi State in their offense. When you look at their offensive numbers, they look like dog shit. They have one of the worst 3-point percentages in all of college basketball. But if you look at Joshua Hubbard's been playing really good. He's shooting 35% from the 3-point, 83% from the free throw line. For Mississippi State to win this game, Joshua Hubbard's going to have a really big game.
Yeah, I'll tell you the spot that I just pulled it up there for intent and purpose here. But Mississippi State, they're in that conference home favorite versus a ranked situation when the line's less than -3. 28-18 out there, and they're winning on average 73-65. So, you're talking about some injured players. You're talking about some last-minute scratches here. Tricky little spot. I thought that there was some other opportunities I wanted to take advantage of, but good luck. Good luck if you're betting it. Good for you. Let's get it there. I see our guy Brian Smith says Luka over 3.5 threes. Nathan Cerna says I'm on the Thunder first half money line and -5.5 full game. A little double action for our guy Nathan Cerna. Jason Work likes Notre Dame plus 6.5. And there's my guy, Dan 29 says Luka triple double plus 450. Luka on the old triple double. Brian Smith says, I'll take Coach Cal as a dog going into March. And Paul and Boat says, hate to bring it back to hockey, but do you like Toronto money line? I mean, you gotta pull away from what we just talked about. If I'd say, Paul and Boats, I like them in regulation. And fuck yeah, I like them in the money line. Let's go, you guys. Hit that thumbs up for us here. Let's keep it rolling, guys. We've got ourselves plenty card tonight to get into, and we've still got some 7 o'clock action here. We're going to roll on down here to Washington, the great capital here. Golden State Warriors 29-27 against this Washington Wizards team, sitting at a putrid 9-48. I put the buy sign on Washington a couple of different times here. We've got 81% of the bets, 76% of the cash earlier today on this Golden State side of things. And, this line's kind of been floating between 10 and 10.5. So seems like every time it gets to 10.5, it kind of pops back down to 10. And then when it goes to 10, it pops back up to 10.5. So we have 64% of the bets and 82% of the cash on the underbelly. Do you have a play in this game? Kind of walk us through what you think's going down here.
These are one of those plays, like the best way I can describe like an analogy for this is Pimp, you know how like when you're younger or even older nowadays, drunk in the pool, and you get that chlorine stuck in your nose and it just messes up your whole entire sinus system. You're like, what is going on? That's how I feel about this game here. This is like a plug your nose, bet the points with the Wizards, but will it cash? It may not cash here, but I think the Wizards would be the right side. I mean, I know the Warriors have been playing better basketball, but I mean, fuck, man, this is a shitload of points. The Warriors have I think they're more worried about the weekend coming up. The weekend is a long weekend for them. They play, I think, Thursday night on TNT against New York. Friday night against Toronto, and then Sunday is probably going to be a primetime game against Boston at 3:30. So this is out of the 4 games in their road trip, this is a game that they really don't give a fuck about. So if it's a game that they don't give a fuck about, I don't think I want to be putting my money on it. I feel like Washington, they might be a little bit more motivated here. No Denny Atvia in the lineup, so you're going to see guys like Corey Kispert and Landry Shamet in the lineup, and Landry Shamet had a hell of a game on Sunday. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him repeat that performance. And Corey Kispert, before getting ruled out of the last game for an illness, he was kind of on a streak himself, but I don't think that's going to be enough here. Golden State, they're not going to have Andrew Wiggins in the lineup, so you're going to see Moses Moody in the starting lineup, and Chris Paul is back for this one. So I kind of want to stay off of Golden State, see how they look with Chris Paul in the lineup, because it seemed like they started to find continuity in their offense without him in the lineup.
Yeah, I love this game. The fact that we're seeing it differently in this game is going to make it a lot of fun to watch because I look at this game here with Golden State coming off that home stand there that they had. What was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 games, four of their last 5 at home, and they took that loss to Denver 119-103. So can't feel good about that situation here. They're going on the road, as you mentioned here. They're flying across country. They're going to start collecting some wins, though. They're 29-27, this Warriors team. So you got to go beat the shit out of the teams you're supposed to beat the shit out of here. And a couple of numbers to back it up for me here. I got the rested road team after an L. If they just took that loss at home, they're 50-17 when they spin out on the road there and get the first game going. So I think this is a good opportunity to put the paddle down. The Warriors are 6-0, but they're covering the spread by 12. They're winning those games on an average of about 24 points when they're on the road off a home loss in the last 2 seasons. So this kind of fits that narrative twice where you've got that rested road team at home. After the home loss. And then specific when you kind of drill it into the Warriors, they come in and they get ready to load. So I think this is a good spot here. I jumped in on the other side of it, Billy, but it's going to be fun to watch and see how we do head to head with this one.
I'm not betting. I'm not putting my hard-earned money on the Wizards tonight. The only spot that I really loved early was Dallas, man. That is the spot here. Fuck the bullshit. Put your money on Dallas tonight. That's the plus money spot of the day.
Yeah, I think Dallas is the great spot there. I think it's a great opportunity to get it done. We kind of hammered away at that one here. Another spot that I'm jumping in on here as we move this card forward here. I'm rolling on to the next game here in the NBA, and I got to jump in on a total. I got to go for it. I'm going to go after it. I'm jumping in, and I'm looking at the spot between we've got the San Antonio Minnesota Timberwolves spot here, Billy. But before I jump in, kind of lay it on us. What do you think about this game?
This is a game that feels like too many points. This is one of those spots where there's a lot of moving pieces here for Minnesota tonight, and it's all going to come in the front court area. No Karl Anthony Towns for this one, and it's never a great sign when you have somebody questionable like Rudy Gobert, who missed the last couple of games, who's on the – basically, when they update the injury report, you want to see that this player is more likely in than out. When they update the injury report and he's not on the injury report and he's still listed as questionable, damn, that gives me the implications that he isn't going to play tonight. And I think it's going to be the Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and Kyle Anderson show in the front court. And if that's the case, I mean, shit, Wemby should go off here. I actually think this is a sneaky backdoor cover here spot for the Spurs. But from a prop angle perspective, really good spot here for Anthony Edwards. His usage rating is pretty absurd without all those players on the court. I actually played him in my daily fantasy lineup. Haven't gotten to the prop window yet. I got to eye out some things to see where his point prop is going to lie at. But I think Anthony Edwards is in store for a 28 through 34-point night here. And will that be enough to get the job done? Probably so. But, I mean, at 13.5 points, I mean, you got to ask yourself, how don't they cover? And there's more reasons why they don't cover than more reasons why they should cover.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess around with the side in this one. I mean, there's a lot of things that pointed to it being a Minnesota spot. You guys have seen, we've been on the wrong side of plenty of these these Spurs games where they just kind of give up in that fourth quarter. Yet I love this kind of bounce back line movement. Again, this is one of those spots where I've been trying to be pretty disciplined about the way I go about these NBA games here. And, we look at both these games. They're both coming off of back-to-back unders. I feel like we're buying low. And I think that we're seeing this reverse line movement kind of start to kick back. I get it. Like your first reaction when you see Cats out is, you think, well, he's their number one scoring guy, right? They've got to kind of be a lower scoring team. But the fact that we've kind of bottomed out and now we're back to those 225.5s just felt like here's a spot where the number's just a little too low for my liking. Now, you look at head-to-head, the numbers that these guys have faced before, 228, 231. There's a 225. When they hit that 225, it went over. 234s, 237.5. So I felt like this number was just simply a spot where it was too low. We've got the movement coming back, and, Wemby's been out there balling. I think there's a spot for these Spurs to go out there and put points up here. Unfortunately, the new number now is 225.5. But I'm going to jump in. I'm going to take advantage of this spot.
I would just wait for that Rudy Gobert news. If he's ruled out, I think that just changes the whole analysis of the Timberwolves. Because without Rudy Gobert, and then you put Naz Reid in there at center, or Luka Garza, one of those two are going to start. Regardless, either of those two, that's a huge drop-off defensively. And I also think the pace of play should change for the Timberwolves, and that should help out your over. If Rudy Gobert's in, you might see a couple more post plays for Rudy Gobert, and we might see a couple more Rudy Gobert offensive shots. But if he's not in there in the lineup, I think that really affects the way that the Timberwolves are going to play defense. I mean, if you look at their front court players with no Rudy Gobert, it's going to be Naz Reid, Luka Garza, Kyle Anderson. That just is not at this point. I mean, shit, how wrong could you be with the Spurs on the money line tonight? I wouldn't blame anybody for taking the points here with the Spurs. I think that's the right spot. This game reminds me highly of the Sacramento Kings game versus the Spurs. I think it was last Thursday or last Friday. Long story short, Domantas Sabonis was ill for the whole entire day. The line was like double digits. He ended up getting rolled in right before the game, but the Spurs ended up backdoor covering the line and losing the game by like 6.
I'll tell you the one spot that I found that I was trying to screw to find it didn't make it through to my transfer here is the over. The overs. You got a heavy favorite that just covered the spread there. And you've got a situation where it's 90 and 44 to the over in those spots. So, situation where I wanted to try to jump in. I know that, when you kind of look back at it here and you look at this Minnesota team, didn't look like they were going to cover against them Nets, but they were able to find a way to get it done. So 90 and 44, it's currently gone 2-0. And I'm going to go back to it again. I know it's a low number. We talked about it. I'd not bad at anybody that wants to wait. I just feel like if you wait, that number's going to potentially drift a little bit. So 225.5. That'll be an official play. Let's keep it rolling here, Billy. We've got ourselves a couple more games to finish the card out, and then we are going to put a bow on the show. Let's talk about this banger here. I know our guy Troy Torrance is off to this game as well. We've got Detroit and the Chicago Bulls, Billy. We've got a spot where we had 89% of the cash and 89% of the bets and 91% of the cash on Detroit. That's dropped this thing down. It's down to 10.5. So it opened up at almost 13 points, 60% of the bets, 98% of the cash on the under. You won't catch me on a spot where we got 98% of the cash, but I lean to Detroit in this game. I think this is a great spot here. Billy, I don't want to steal the thunder here. I get it. The Bulls doing their thing, making things happen. I just got to be just bottom line this one here. There's a lot of double-digit favorites tonight, and the way I saw the Pistons play last night there, probably a little salty about the way things ended up. What do you think about this game?
Hey, you know me, man. There's been advocacy for Detroit basketball this last month. It's been me, man. I've been betting the Pistons left and right, getting made fun of for it. But from like me putting my money on you team-wise perspective, the Detroit Pistons have been the most profitable team I bet on this month, and that's due because of these inflated lines, and this is another inflated line. I know they're on the second half of a back-to-back, but I don't think that's indicative of the spot here tonight. I think this is a good spot for them. They have a pretty deep roster. They were one of the trade deadline winners. When you look at Chicago's just – for Chicago to win this game by double digits, they would have to do a lot right. This is a front end of a back-to-back for them, so this could definitely be one of those spot scenarios where you see Chicago be up by margin at halftime, and then Detroit kind of creep their way back in there and backdoor cover this line and kind of make some of those starters play in the fourth quarter here. I'm looking to fade Chicago on the front end and the back end of this back-to-back. And the Pistons would be a great way to get it started off. Hopefully, I don't want to seem like I'm being greedy here, but hopefully I'm be able to catch a live line on this one. And 15.5 would be that perfect number for me here for the Pistons. If I can get 15.5 live, I'll be all over it.
Oh, I did the old sprinkle, boys and girls there. The old sprinkle here. I think Detroit gets this cover. You got a big spot, big number out there. They have covered their last two. And again, I think some of these folks have looked at the narrative and said that game that they had last there against the Knicks, and that was an emotional. I don't think so. They played hard in that game.
I don't want them to win on the money line though, because from like a front office scenario, what the coach's conversation is with Monty. You're playing great. We'll give you the money for your fine from last night of you blowing up in the press conference, but you got to stop winning fucking games.
Yeah.
We're glad you guys are playing a lot better, but stop winning games.
Yeah, and Detroit doesn't seem to be in that city that they're like, hey, we want you to play competitive. They're like, screw that. Let's just go out there and get a good draft pick here and partner some boys up. They kept Cade Cunningham for a reason. And
This is wild to see 10.5 points on the Chicago Bulls. How the fuck are they laying? I don't care if it's a college basketball team. 10.5 points for the Chicago Bulls is a lot of fucking points.
they're going to have to blow them out to cover that spread. It's not going to be a situation where it's a 9 or a 12. It's going to have to be like a 25. Otherwise, it's going to be like a 2. And I think if it's going to be a 2, you might as well give a little sprinkle there. So love that spot, Billy. Let's close the card up here tonight here with the NBA. We're going to go with the little Rockets OKC Thunder spot here. And albeit we've got 29% of the bets and 67% of the cash on them Rockets at plus 10. We got the Rockets coming into this one here, sitting in a situation where they just took an L. They just took an L in this team here against OKC. So it is the second leg here, or the second spot in the back-to-back against the same team, albeit a little bit of break in time here. They just had a day off in between. We have 80% of the bets, 91% of the cash on the over, Billy. The floor is yours. Help us wrap this card up tonight, and let's get it going.
Yeah, degeneracy here. Sometimes we always talk about the starters, and the starters are the great plays and the prop. Well, let's talk about some bench guys, man. This is a TNT game, and if I'm going to try to bet into the way I think this game goes, I think Oklahoma City wins the first half and they cover the full game. But with that being said, I think that opens up a prop scenario here for the Rockets. Cam Whitmore over 11.5 points. He's over 15 out of his last 19 games. He had 12 points in 16 minutes in that last game against OKC. He played 11 minutes in the first half. And then Udoka, I don't know what the fuck was going on in his mind, but he kind of thought, I guess we're going to get back in this game. And he played the starters in the second half, and they got absolutely rocked in the second half. So Cam Whitmore didn't really sub back in. But even with that 17 to 20 minute projection here tonight, I got Cam Whitmore going up and over that total. And if this game blows out, he'd be one of the main beneficiaries of the blowout run here. I think he goes over that 11.5 point line. If you remember that OKC Houston game the first time, OKC was up by a lot at halftime. Houston ended up backdoor covering the line, or damn near almost backdoor covering the line. The game was close enough where the starters had to play deep into the fourth quarter. I don't think that's going to be the case in scenario here today. I see this game kind of somewhat being a blowout during some point. And if that's the case, I think we're going to have some value here on the bench player props.
Love to look, bottom line, we got a spread situation. Team came off a spread win. They're playing the same opponent, and the line's bigger than it was the last time. I mean, it can't get much more simpler than that, right? You're playing the same team. You just beat them up. You covered. Now they're laying even more number, 42-6-2 against the spread in those spots out there. This number screams Thunder. The fact that they didn't bring it down, despite how Houston kind of played in that third quarter, as you alluded to, tells you everything you need to know about this game here. I love your look there. Love the bench player spots as well. Yeah, blowout city incoming here in OK City here to close the show up for us tonight. And that's going to do it for us, you guys here. We appreciate all you guys rocking. Billy, tell them what's going on. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them about the UFC. What's going on in the world of Billy Briz, my guy.
Yeah, make sure you follow me over on X at getting_bills, recorded with my guy Cal for the Don't Tap podcast. Got up some early plays, and it's a good video. Me and Cal are basically just arguing about the spots on the card, and I think that's always good for the viewers when they see the other side of a card with I think 7 fights that are over minus 250 odds for the betting favorite. So make sure you guys check us out, and then the Locker Room Talk podcast Thursday, me, Millie Mills, big show, be on Spotify, and hopefully we'll come to YouTube very shortly here. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram at Billy Briz DFS. Let's go get paid tonight. Let's go, Dallas.
My guy, Billy Briz, we appreciate you hanging out here, our resident on Tuesday, helping us navigate the hardwood to get that cash. We appreciate all you guys here as you're checking out of this thing. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Help us support the cause. Juggler 23, Jim Orleans, Jason Wirt, Kelly V. The crew showed up. If it ain't foreign, it's boring out there. Robert Martin. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us tonight. Von Polo likes that Pistons money line spot as well. Go get it, my guy, Von Polo. Jim Orleans rocking. Oh, Joe Tadaro says, I see you, brother Bill, out there smoking mirrors. Nunya. Can't wait to do it again tomorrow with you guys. Appreciate everybody hanging tonight. Until then, good luck with your bets. You know the deal, guys. Stay cashing. We be popping, baby. Get that money.